If you have a pet, you know the pain of leaving them behind when you're going on a trip. But what if I told you, number one, you do not have to leave your pet behind, and number two, you can actually travel with your pet in cabin. So in today's video, let's dive into how you can travel with your pet on Delta Airlines. And why should you listen to me? Well, I've flown more than 30 airlines, and I've also flown with my pet across the coast. My name is Abhi, this is Credit Debit with Abhi, and like we do in all of our videos, let's dive in. We'll divide this video into two parts. The first part is going to focus on the logistics of flying, and the second part is going to focus on some strategies you can deploy when flying with your pet. We'll go through 7 logistical parameters. Let's start with number 1. To ensure that your pet can fly with you, you have to call Delta customer care and tell them to add the pet in cabin. Remember that Delta puts a limit on the number of pets that can be carried in cabin on each aircraft. So you increase your chances of getting your pet in cabin the further out from your itinerary you can call them. For your pet to be able to fly in cabin, the combined weight of your dog and your kennel cannot exceed 20 pounds. Now that immediately rules out a lot of dogs that are above 20 pounds unless they're service animals. You'll also need to pay $95 one way to be able to fly your pet in cabin with you. What you'll notice on the Delta app is that 24 hours before your flight, you're unable to check in. The general procedure entails you going to the airport and looking for a queue that says Agent Assist, walking up to the agent, and they should already know that you're traveling with a pet in cabin. You pay the $95, they'll give you a pet carrier tag that you have to attach on top of the kennel and put your name and signature down. This tag will have a few policies that they call out. One of the things that this tag will call out is that your pet has to be inside the kennel for pretty much the entirety of their experience at the airport, except for when they're going into the pet relief area. I know you might have seen a lot of dogs walking around, but that's not really allowed. So if someone comes up to you and says that you have to put your dog in kennel, well, you have to. Moving on to number 4, since you have to have a kennel with your pet, I'd recommend buying a soft one. If you go to Amazon and look for kennels specifically for airlines, you'll find a bunch of options. I recommend the soft one because you want to be able to put the kennel underneath the seat, and a soft kennel just allows you more flexibility. I'll link the one that we use for Gigi, our pet, below. You may already know this, but on Delta Airlines, you can carry 2 pieces of baggage. One is a hand baggage and the second is a carry-on luggage. It's good to know that your pet in cabin actually counts as 1 piece of baggage. So remember when you're traveling with your pet, that you can only carry 1 more baggage outside of the kennel that you're carrying your pet in. If you're traveling from or to one of the airports which has a Delta Sky Club, well, you're in luck because you can visit the Delta Sky Club with your pet. The policy remains the same though. Your pet has to be inside the kennel at all times when inside the Delta Sky Club. On our recent visit to the Delta Sky Club, we had a family that had a small dog that they were walking around with inside the Delta Sky Club. One of the representatives walked up to them and said, "Hey, you cannot really do that." And there was a woman who just shouted disrespectfully at this man. Well, you should know that per policy, your dog has to be inside the kennel, not outside of it. Here's the kicker. The American Express Centurion Lounge does not allow pets inside the lounge. So if you're stuck between the Delta Sky Club and the American Express Centurion Lounge, the only option available to you is the Delta Sky Club. So my recommendation is, please treat the staff respectfully. The 7th and the last logistical parameter is that when you're passing through security, you have to take your pet out of the kennel into your hand and then walk through the metal detector. This is one of those rare instances within the airport premises where you're actually allowed to take your pet outside of the kennel. Note that this is true for TSA PreCheck, which is what I generally tend to use. Maybe the policy is different if you go in the regular line. That brings us to the 2 strategies that I want to discuss with you when you're flying with your pet, which will make your travel either a little easier or a little more cost effective. Number 1 is that if you have the American Express Platinum card, this is where it can come in handy. With the American Express Platinum card, you get a $200 airline incidental fee credit. The $95 that you have to pay to carry your pet in cabin, well, you can use your American Express Platinum card to pay for it. The only thing to keep in mind is that you have to select Delta Airlines as your airline of choice for airline incidental fees. So if you use your American Express Platinum card to pay the $95 fee, you should be able to see the credit hit your account within a 14-day period. If you have a player too that travels with you and also has an American Express Platinum card, well, now you can pretty much pay for 4 trips for your pet inside the cabin. And I know that $95 sounds like a lot of money, but the way I think about it is if I have to leave my pet behind, I obviously have to pay for boarding or some other kind of service. Plus, I love to have my pet with me wherever I go. And here's the second strategy. If you have elite status with Delta, use it. So for example, I have Platinum Elite status with Delta. The way I strategize to use my Elite status is that I book main cabin, and then 9 times out of 10, I get upgraded to Comfort Plus because of the status. And then I call Delta customer care and then add my pet in cabin. Remember that Delta does not allow you to fly with your pet in cabin in premium select seats or Delta 1 seats. So by sequencing the activity this way, you're upping your chances that you get upgraded to Comfort Plus. There have been data points in my own travel where I've booked main cabin and I've added my pet in cabin while booking the flight, and I've still been upgraded to Comfort Plus, but it's generally happened at the airport. And that is why the strategy I'd recommend is book your flight in main cabin, let Delta upgrade you to Comfort Plus, and then add your pet in cabin. If you have additional strategies for how to travel with your pet in cabin, let me know in the comments below. And like always, I'll see you in the next one.